Okay, what a beautiful day. So what do I have to do here? Now, you're not going to be able to see me. I'm going to just talk while I work. Some of you say, hey, I want to see what you do. Oh, can I use these from yesterday? So every day I do a little bit of something, whether it's on the deck, whether it's in one of my other gardens. But this right now, I'm desperate to get this done. You know, I think I can use this. I've got extra gloves in my pockets. You know, I love these pants. I should tell you about the pants. But anyways, going back to this, the reason it's important is we're going to get into a rainy season. And I'll tell you something, when I started harvesting this, I thought I failed. And then the problem was, how was I going to fix it? Oh, it was a nightmare. I'll see if I can get the video up. But what I found out is I didn't fail. I just have to strategize. And even if we fail, that's when we step back and we analyze, what did we do where it didn't work? So I need another wheelbarrow. I don't think I have one. So I'm going to get something ready. Okay, this soil, it all came out of the turmeric on this table. I'm going to shift things around because as I work, I'm going to have to put the soil back because otherwise it's going to sit here. It's going to rain. It's going to get full of water. I'm going to have to drain it. And by letting the soil sit in a bucket of water, it just turns into muck. And I don't want it to turn into muck. I want this to, turmeric. I want this to be the soil for next year, but we're going to freshen this up a little bit. There's so many ways. I left a lot of turmeric in here. It doesn't matter. When I use it, if there's turmeric in there and I didn't see it, it'll just grow. Gardening. Gardening is the best stress reliever. Let me say that in the very beginning, I'm going to move some of this. If you go back to my videos, I originally would only grow what we could eat. That's all I wanted to grow. If I couldn't eat it, I wouldn't grow it. Whether it's out here or on the deck, I should say. That's what my strategy was. But then it didn't make any sense. And why didn't it make sense? I'm going to throw these on the ground. Because I need pollinators and nature around to do it the easy way. So I had to change everything I was thinking and go in a different direction. And my new direction is much better. When I say new, I guess I've been doing this for 7 years where I've brought nature in. So why do I have hummingbirds on our channel and gardening on our channel and a little bit of cooking, though I need to do more because I think even though you may not want to do it the way I do it, you may get really good ideas. Because it all is one thing. It's just completely the same thing. Whether we're growing something to eat or growing something to bring in pollinators, we do need both. And when you have both, you have a balance. And when you have a balance, you save a ton of money. Let me tell you something. And I feel you'll enjoy gardening a whole lot more. So what I'm going to do, you're not going to see me do them all, is I'm going to go through and I'm going to harvest a whole bunch of these. I cannot leave them out here, as I was saying. Our weather is changing. Not for the better. Well, I guess it is, but they're expecting a lot of rain. And with a lot, you know what? Give me this back. With a lot of rain, the turmeric and the ginger that's here will get waterlogged and they'll just rot away. So they've all got to come out. So that's why I'm going through this. They're still green, but they're really not growing any new growth. Any new growth coming in, which is very little. You know what? Let me put my hair back. Which is really very little. The new growth is not going to do anything for the tubers or the rhizomes. It just won't do anything. So I need to get these out because the last thing I need is we drop down into the 40s and then we end up with a rotten tubers and I'll lose that. The other thing I'm doing is I am storing them, but I really want to get them in the freezer quick, the ones I want to eat. Because by doing it that way, I get no skin on them. And that's worked out really good. Now this is not a good one. I know you can't see it, but you'll have to watch a separate video for that. Because normally when they grow really good, I'll pull them out and the whole thing is packed with turmeric. This one's not. It's just at the base. Though it looks good, that's too little. Now, is it a total loss? Oh no, it's beautiful. I'll take off the ones that I want. The mother plant is very dark. I'll wash them up and I will store the ones in the freezer that I want to just grab out, put in a rice dish or eat. I'll do it that way. I think I'll use my basket. And I have a scissors, yes. So I'll store them in the freezer, and then the ones I may want to grow, I have a tote a special setup that I do, and it's worked for years, and it works really good. I don't need any of the roots on it. The roots will not grow. I've tried even these little balls they develop. When I see some, well, you'll see it in the video, they develop these little balls, they don't grow. We used to eat them, but you know, they really don't have the nutrients. Even the leaves, yes, you can eat and make tea out of the turmeric leaves, but what you really want is this part. This has got fantastic nutrients in there. So for years I've been on high blood pressure medicine. The smallest amount they could give me, 1 teeny pill a day. And my new doctor, who is a DO, so they do a lot more with food than they do with medication, said to me, I don't think you really need it. And I said, well, I don't know. It runs in my blood, in my family. You know, my whole family's got it. So she took me off completely and said, when you come in, I want you de-stressed. And they kept bringing me in. And if I would put on my phone, it was crazy. A Hallmark movie, my blood pressure would be really good, like 120, 128 over 60 or something. So she said, I don't want you on any more. I haven't been on blood pressure medicine for a year. So she said, let's try it a few times. So then I went in and they tested my blood pressure and it was down to 106 over like 58. And she said, wow, you're not stressed. Ha! She said, I want you to come back in a couple weeks and we're gonna do it again. So I came back in a couple weeks and they did it again. I was testing it at home, it was really low. And then she saw me and said, how come all of a sudden it's gone down? I am not a doctor and do not do this unless you talk to your doctor. I said, every day I'm eating 2 pieces of turmeric, about this, almost the size of your finger, which I ended up cutting back because I think it was too much. Twice a day. I would eat it with breakfast and I would eat it with dinner. And that is what lowered my blood pressure. My doctor now has turmeric. I had to bring her some. So now I'm using turmeric instead. Now, will that work for everybody? Of course not. But it works for me right now. Things change as we get older. So, you know, it could work forever. It could change. Whatever. It's working. So as I was saying, I've got to get this all out because we have a storm coming in that is going to be a Pineapple Express. So it's not going to be too cold probably, but what it is going to be is really wet for days. They're talking about flooding and everything. I hope we don't have flooding here. So I'm going to wash that off. I'm going to wash it and store it. I don't want any earthworms in there when I store it in my tote, even though there's so many roots, they would eat that instead. So I want to get this as much done as possible. Will I be able to get to them all? Maybe. And if I don't, I'll just do it afterwards. But that's why I'm trying to do this. And I don't want all this soil in here because, like I said, I don't want it to just turn to muck. We don't want our soil compacted where when you look at it, it's just muck, you know, just a pile, not dirt like this, but just a pile of whatever. So what we want to do is put it back with leaves and different things. Sometimes I use, as you know, tree collard, whatever I've got. Right now I'm using the leaves that came out of here. And I can always do compost tea later. And that is all I'm going to do. More turmeric. Okay, so that one's done. And I will be putting in no stakes because I always put a pink one in for turmeric and kind of this lime green one for ginger. So when nothing's growing, I know what's in there. But nothing's going to be in here. We're going to do this whole table. So I believe, see what, yesterday I started them and I didn't mark them. I'll put this in here. So I know I'm just starting these. This is, I don't know what this is. So I want to get these tipped and I want to get these set up. So one table will be set up ready for the spring. And I need to do the whole table. So when I step out here tomorrow or the next day, I can look at it and say, oh yeah, I remember what I did. Okay, so this is just soil. And that has no holes, so I wasn't growing in here. I must have been moving soil around. I'll tell you something. What's funny is we used to have DirecTV. Oh my gosh. We don't watch TV anymore. When it comes to TV channels and stations like that, we watch YouTube. You can get your news on YouTube. You can get everything you want on YouTube. I guess it's got holes. And we save a lot of money. It was, they tried to get it over $100 for channels we didn't want. There is a law that they have to give you basic if you ask. There's some sort of law, so I had to fight with them all the time. And we finally went to cancel. Twice on the phone for 2 hours, they would not let me cancel. Other things happened, but they took care of the problems after that. But we watch everything on YouTube. Most of the channels, your local channels, if something happens, they immediately jump in there and you know what's going on, so it works. So we save money that way, and then I can watch different gardening channels or cooking or enjoyment channels. I even watch sometimes Hallmark movies and other movies on there, old movies. There's some really cute old movies. So I watch that, but there's so many ways to save money. And YouTube is free. And I really need to talk about that. I wasn't going to talk about that today. I meet people that either recognize me in the store or they ask a lot of questions. We get talking. It's like, oh, you like hummingbirds? So do I. And then before you know it, it's like, oh, you do hummingbirds? And they say, yeah, they have YouTube, but they haven't signed up because they don't want to pay. And what they don't realize is YouTube is the best deal out there. It doesn't cost you anything. I signed up a lady in the store right there because she didn't know and she wanted help, which is nothing. What do? You give them your email address. I never go to my email. But you give them your email address and I think they need a phone number. So there isn't much that they need. And then you've got a channel. A lot of people have multiple channels. I don't know. I have one channel. I can barely take care of the one channel. I know some people say, why don't you split your channel off? I have rocks in there. And then if you split it, you can put the hummingbirds on one and the garden on the other. Now here's the issue. It is hard enough for me on my own doing one channel. And I could not think of trying to do another channel. I think I would lose my mind because I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can. A lot of you know that I will go back and answer questions that have been there sometimes for almost a year. I find them. Let me move all this over. I'm going to kind of work the table so I know this one's completely ready in the spring. Oh gosh, that will be the greatest thing in the world. This will collapse down, all these, but that's okay. But oh, what was I saying? I already forgot. See, I shouldn't have changed the subject. I don't know what to do with this. It's got a beautiful nasturtium. But it's completely free. And that is something I think everybody should sign up for. Really. You have something that doesn't cost anything. Now, if you don't sign up, you can still watch, of course. Do you know like 70 to 80% of the people that watch us do not have a channel? But the point is, you'll be able to find what you want to watch. You'll be able to hit, there's like, once you sign up, you can subscribe and hit a little bell. So if they come on live, like periodically I do, you would know it right away if YouTube is doing their job, because sometimes they forget to notify you. But it's kind of like, it's the best thing in the world. It's free. I can't think of anything better. I mean, it's absolutely free. They'll prompt you off and on, would you like to sign up? I don't know what it costs, and get it all, you know, with no commercials and all that. But I'm not going to pay because you never know how often you're going to watch. And what I personally don't need to pay. I know some people that did and then they changed their mind. So the thing is, you don't have to pay for it. It's free, and all they need is a phone number. You have to come up with a name, and then when you watch something and you really like it, you can go back and watch it again because it will be saved in your history. So it really works out good. Oh gosh, those holes are so small. Really? Really, Robbie? You made those holes so small? Okay, let's do this without causing damage to me. Okay, cutting plastic, close your eyes. That's it. Perfect. Now I have a big drain hole. I can get this thing ready. I've got that one I can get ready. So all the leaves that the plant made, all the nutrients they pulled out up that they didn't put in their rhizomes is just going to go back. A little bit of this stuff. Oh, I wanted to put this stuff too. Hold on. I forgot. Though I'll be using it later. I don't know if you can see me over here, but this is broken down wood chips. This will be full of different nutrients. Threw it in a trash can. And you water it, let the rain water it. And then look at this, it just breaks down, looks like soil. And I want to put a little bit over there. So that's why this is here. And this is more leafy. It hasn't broke down yet. And this has been great. Everything going back in here is absolutely 100% free. Everything. I mean, you think about it. The plants that have been growing for years are free. All it took was the first one to buy. So that worked out good. I'm going to put some leafy matter in there. Now, by using leaves and stuff like this, it gives you really fluffy soil, which is really, really nice. It's going to break down by the time I plant in it, and that's perfect. I did do this, right? Yes, 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 yes. Then I come back in the spring, and it's just like pop, 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 pop. Grab some pieces that I have stored and put them on top, push them in, or add some soil on the top, which I probably will. Okay, that's got holes. And that will be so good. But I don't like watching the news. To be honest, the news lately is really tough to watch sometimes. And I do watch a little bit. Gary's always watching that stuff, and he keeps up with everything going on. There's just so much. There's nothing I can do, and gardening is so relaxing. It's such a great stress reliever, and it really is. So I would suggest try gardening. So this is what I do. And I try to pace myself. So I've got to go in and do the hummingbirds soon. We know that. They were low already, which is nothing new. Then I come back towards evening and do some watering. I like watering in the evening. And that's what I do. So I figured I would just come out with you and do a little bit of this. And it's not like, oh, this is how to. No, this is what I do. Now, everything I do here, you can do on a small scale as well. Please don't think you need a lot of land. The last thing you need is a lot of land. How can I do this? I want to save the flower. I could forfeit this. Oh my goodness, how can I do this? Let's see. Oh wow. Okay, this is going to be good. I'm going to take off the turmeric. We're going to add in some leaves in here. broken down wood chips. Oh, I should wear a mask. A little dusty, but just don't breathe when you're shoveling it. Now, oh wow, more turmeric in here. It's spread. And it doesn't matter if there's any more. If I lose a little bit, I lose a little bit. Okay, do that. You kidding me? You have more turmeric in there? But I think everybody should do gardening. If you are handicapped to the point where you can't walk, please try chair gardens. You can elevate it and sit. They use it around hospitals and everything for people to get out, retirement homes, people where they're recouping out of the hospital. And it really is the best thing for mind and body. I mean, if you think about it, our ancestors wouldn't have been able to live if they weren't gardening. Because, I mean, when I was little, we didn't have the big supermarkets. We were going to little, I don't have a shovel here. We were going to little supermarkets. That's what we were doing. I'm going to end up moving this one because this one is going to need water. So I'm going to move this. I'll just keep it in the front. But I was going to a little supermarket. You'd walk into the supermarket in LA and they had eggs piled up like, I was little, so let's say about yay high. And that's how you bought them. The farmers, they'd either buy it from the farmers or they bring it in that way. And everything was different. The produce was real produce. Oh, I used to sleep over my grandmother's house. And she'd get up so early in the morning. And she'd say, hurry, you want to come with me? And we would go shopping. And she wanted to be there early in the morning at the stores to get the best produce. She wanted to pick through. Oh, bless her heart. But I remember all that. Then later on, the big grocery stores came about. And my grandmother said she wasn't interested. Or my mother used to go, come with me, let's go shopping. No, she went a couple times. I'm not going to buy that food. And she would still, her whole life, she would get up and go in the morning to get the best produce. I don't know where the grocery stores were getting all their stuff, but she could see it wasn't the same at all what she wanted to buy. See, this is going to be great. Now, my main thing right now is to get this as empty as possible. I've got a few more days before this thing moves in. Then I'll leave those, let them get wet if I'm not done with them. And then the next dry day, go back through them. But these are all prepped. Now, if I wanted to do something else, I could plant bulbs in here. Oh, did I? Okay, that's the wood chips. Okay, and then we've got this. So these two have to be filled. Okay, this one's almost done. But I don't want anything to happen to soil. Now, can I use this for starting seeds? Yes, if I was going to use it outside. People tell you, oh, your seeds won't grow in rocks. It's got too much stuff in there. Seeds won't grow. Okay. Do not tell Mother Nature that because they don't know that yet. Because seeds come up everywhere around here. Tomato seeds, if you're gardening in even the smallest place. How many times do you look and find volunteers coming up? Whether it's lettuce or Swiss chard or tomatoes or peppers or Malabar spinach or bok choy or mustard coming up in the rocks over there. Don't let anybody tell you you have to have a special seed mix. Now, is it easier for the seeds? No, it's easier for you. But the point is, you could just sift out. I could actually just grab through here if I wanted to. What I don't want to do is I don't want to bring that in because I don't want a bunch of earthworms and stuff in there in the house. They're not going to leave. I just don't want it. But you can. Now, a lot of times in the house, or if I want to make sure there's nothing contaminated in there, and when I say contaminated, I could bring this in, I could put it in a pot, I could plant a special tomato plant, and then tomatoes come up But what if I had tomato seeds in here and didn't know? And that can happen. I got tomato plants that come up everywhere, even where I didn't have tomatoes growing. That would be the contamination. You may grow a wonderful plant, but it may not be what you wanted. So then you want to have soil that has not been contaminated with real life matter in it. Now, could you fix that? Yes, we've done this in the past. You could gather up the nicest soil. Please check it really good for earthworms. You could take out the earthworms if you're going to do a small amount of seeds, and you wanted to make sure there's nothing in there. And what you could do is put it on a big cookie sheet and bake it in the oven at about 300 degrees for maybe 20 minutes, and then just turn the oven off, let it cool, and you will have sterilized soil. So that would work. And then you wouldn't have to worry about seeds, because usually then, no, freezer won't work because a lot of seeds store really good in the freezer. But baking it in the oven, that would be perfect. So you could do it that way. And like I said, make sure there's no earthworms. You're going to be baking your earthworms. I mean, is it the end of the world? No. I'm out of pots. No, but the point would be you don't want to bake your beautiful earthworm. There's holes in here. How big are these holes? Some of these holes I went through with the soldering iron, and I used to make them small. Okay. Oh, you know what? The holes are big enough. I can see them. They're fine. I'm going to put leaves in here. So once I get most of this done, then I'll take a break and go to a different part of the garden, or I'll do the hummingbirds. Like I said, the hummingbirds take me about an hour. This is just wood chips, broken down leaves, anything that was raked up and put in a trash can. Now what you should be doing right now, I don't know what's in here. What you should be doing is collecting everything and anything. Kitchen compost, there's nothing in here. It's not labeled, so maybe I took it out early on. I may have wanted some turmeric. I probably did, and I took it out. So it's empty. That's why there was no stick in here. You should be collecting all your kitchen scraps. Put it in a tote, a trash can, a bucket, and make sure it gets a little water here and there. And if it's snowing, you've got snow. You step outside in the spring when the snow melts and all the plants start popping up, snow won't hurt anything. So you can still save it, and you'll be ahead of the game, and it will save you a ton of money. Everybody out there is trying to sell stuff. I understand. If they're selling you stuff you need, that is absolutely wonderful. But so much of this stuff that they're selling, all this plant food, I've seen plant food they're selling for $70 a bottle. Boy, nature should be out there doing that. She'd make a fortune. She could get more help. Joking aside, you don't need to spend that kind of money. Big hole. So with that, think about what you want to do. Now, if you can afford it, I cannot, and you want to buy all that stuff, I know a lot of people that do, go for it. It's not going to hurt anything, though it depends on what it's made from. If it's got a lot of chemicals, then I don't know what they put in it, and that bothers me. There's so many chemicals out there, and that's the last thing I want to eat. Though I eat a little bit, I am not perfect, and I don't promote perfect. I promote happiness. I want you to feel good. You want to get your chocolate. You want to make cookies. You want to make cake. But there are cookies and cakes you can make. I make cookies all the time. Gary likes cookies. And let me tell you something. There's not much in there. You can go look at the ingredients on all the chemicals they put in there, and you can make cookies with less chemicals. Butter is butter. If you're going to use butter. An egg is an egg. But when you read some of the stuff that goes in there, it is really downright scary. So we can make it clean. And it doesn't mean it's going to be hard, and it doesn't even mean it's going to be from scratch. I manipulate stuff that I buy at the grocery store. Oh gosh, I ended up with more soil than I started with. I don't know how that happens, but it seems to happen every year. I have all these, and then when I empty them, I have more soil than I need. Look at all this. But you can do it clean. You can do it where you're having a lot of fun. It's got enough holes. And it won't cost you that much. And if you want to know, tell me. I'm trying to clean my kitchen. You know what the problem is? I need a housekeeper. I've never had one in my life. I cook, and then I go do stuff. Hold on. Wow, I've gone through all the leaves that I've picked. And then I go to film, because I don't have a studio set, though I have the other kitchen, but it's so dark. I actually like my little kitchen to cook in. But I go to film, and it looks so bad. And I think, I don't want to do that. You guys are going to think, wow, because I've made breakfast. Sometimes Gary makes breakfast, I make breakfast. So it's like, I don't even know what people want to see. Do you want to see cookies? Dinners, I never know. If you ask Gary right now, what is he having for dinner? He'll say, I don't know. Because I don't know until I walk into the kitchen. And when I walk into the kitchen, that's when I know what I'm going to make. I look around, or something I brought in from the garden, and then I go from that. So I never know what I'm going to make. But he always knows there is always food around. Always. We have plenty of food. I was going to say more food than we need. We have plenty of food. So, isn't that gorgeous? Look at all this. Now this is exciting. I do want to move this later. Give that water. This is exciting. This is like a ton of work that is going to be so great when I come out here. Then I'm going to be able to get so much turmeric and ginger planted. Oh my gosh, I got 3 more tables. I'm never going to get to it. A lot of that on the ground is ginger. Nuts. This was not about harvesting today. It's got big holes. Should have worn a mask. This is dusty. Okay, let me hold my breath. To think this was all leaves and wood chips and just sitting. During the summer, I collected a lot of this, and Gary piled some of it in. This is going to be so great to grow in, and it's just so fluffy and good drainage. Yeah, I've got a problem. I've got to get all this in the pots. I don't want to leave it in here. I do all the time, and the earthworms won't be happy. So a lot of times here, because this gets full of water, I'll sit flat. Oh, there's full of earthworms. Okay, that's a little bug I don't want, but there's earthworms in there. I'll sit pots on top, because this fills with water if I'm not out here and I can't tip it quick enough, they'll crawl into the pot through the holes on the bottom. So they'll be all in here to get out of the water if it's raining. Okay, let's see. Let me put the big one here. Big one in the back. I think I've done enough for today. I'll go wash the little bit of turmeric that I've done, and then I'll go through the pots later. A lot of these I propagate in. I'll bring geraniums over here that I like. You know what? I want to make some more geranium. I'll come back later. All right, so I got that. There's another one. Do I have more leaves? So if you pace yourself, and if you don't spend a lot of money, I think you're going to garden. I really do feel you would garden forever. So many people give up gardening. I see it all the time. I hear about it. It's too hard. Everything died. No, things die for different reasons. But the point is you have to just figure out your property, and things do die back. Even in here, everything that this table is normally clear. I've been moving things around, brought things from the front to here. This table, half did phenomenal and half did not that good. And why? There's a microclimate on that table. So the microclimate is different on the front of the table. You can't see it. So it's different from the front of the table to the back of the table. So now I have to copy what's back there and bring it to the front. And I can do it. And that I will do in the spring. See, if I dump this and I have more, I've got more dirt, and I'm trying to get rid of dirt. And I want to use the leaves. You don't throw anything away. I always talk about that. I don't worry about really, I haven't had any diseases to worry about it, but I don't worry about that because in nature, your average plants, once it's off the plant and the plant has died back, it's done. And whatever was on there is done too. Now, like I said, I don't have to fill it to the top, but it will collapse. Later on, I'll have more soil. And when I plant, I can kind of cater to it depending on what I'm going to plant in here. Though I do believe this will all be turmeric, though there will be some changes done. Oh, this is beautiful. I went higher in the back. That's what I do. I'm almost done. Should be able to finish this one tomorrow, or even at night, and then keep going, and then I can do the other table. I might be able to get it all done before the rainstorm comes in. If not, at least I'll get this out, and if I can't, I'll just load this in the pots so it will drain, and then I'll have really good rich soil to use. And that does not mean that if I needed something, I couldn't come back and use anything in here, but I could use it that way. All right, well, I didn't harvest a lot right now because a lot of these just didn't have a lot in them. And that's perfect, but I got a lot done, and I'm very pleased with what I got done. Any more holes in here? Some of these. Oh, this is a stand. I don't want to use that here. I'm going to use that somewhere else. This one's got holes. I can do that one too. Let's see. So I want to hear how you garden. I may not get to everything right away, but I usually eventually do. And I do read a lot. Sometimes I read more than I, answer at first, depending on what I'm on, a computer or my phone or a tablet. I mean, are you watching me for gardening? Are you watching me for hummingbirds? The hummingbirds are flying around here. I just love nature. I've always loved nature. I've been gardening since I was a little kid. I was gardening when I must have been about 7 or 8. I also gave up gardening when I was 7 or 8. Oh my goodness. I did give it up. I got really angry. That's a stupid story. But you know what? Maybe a stupid story, but I haven't forgotten it. I'll tell you what happened and we'll finish this up. So every year since I must have been like 5, I used to go with my dad fishing. My dad passed away exactly a month ago today. I go fishing with him. I go shooting with him. He didn't hunt, but he would go target shooting. I go with him since a little kid. And I go with him to the nurseries. My dad was World War II Navy vet, so he was really active. And I used to bring home seeds and plant them. So every year I was planting seeds. And every year, everything grew for me. Carrots, radishes, we even had strawberries. But my corn didn't grow, which was really crazy. It would get so high and then it would die back. Hold on. So one year, I think I was 9 or 10. I finally got my corn to grow. I was so excited. I can't remember how many. Let's say there were 3. I can't remember if there were 2 or 3. I got about yay high. I had corn cobs growing on the side. Everything was really good. And I was tending to the garden that day. And my mom called me in for lunch. My grandparents were over that day. And I came in for lunch. Then I went outside. I was going to work in my little garden. So it was just smack in the middle of LA, small garden. And when I walked outside, all the tops of my corn had been cut. I ran inside, I asked who did it. My grandfather said he did. I don't understand to this day why he would do that. And I asked him, why, you just killed my corn, why did you do it? And he said, it was messy. I don't understand that, but he said it was messy. Now this is a person that came from Europe, so you would think he knew how to garden. I was so upset and so depressed that for the next few days I watched, and nobody cared. My mom said it's okay. Nobody said don't do that to him or anything, you know, you shouldn't have done it. Nobody said anything. My mother said it's okay. It wasn't okay to me. I was working so hard. And so I watched for the next few days my corn just dry up. The corn cobs never develop. And at that point I thought, if I can't have any control of my garden to the point where somebody would come in and cut it, I'm done gardening. So I kind of gave up gardening for quite a few years. I was that depressed. Was I wrong? Probably. But I was really upset that there was like nobody felt bad. And I felt so bad. So anyways, I gave up gardening back then for a long time. Then later on, I got back into it big time. I even grew Brussels sprouts and broccoli. I had a big front garden when I had a house in Sunland, big front garden. So I later on did go back in the garden. I did other stuff, don't worry. I wasn't standing around doing nothing. I'm always working. You know, I think I'm happy for today. I've got half a wheelbarrow of that soil. I think I've talked my ear off. Don't even know if my mic is still working or if my phone is still on, but I've done quite a bit. And now I can go do the hummingbirds and know that this table's almost done. And I may even be able to come back even tonight before dinner and see, because all these pots, I don't think there's holes in them. No, this one's to collect soil. This one, no. This one's got a hole. Hold on. I could do one more. You know what? I'll do it later. And then I'll figure out how I want to do it. But this is the way I'm going to set up the tables and do them all. And then I'll get something together so you can see the harvest, how it went. But I am going to have a ton here. I really am, and I'm very pleased. Even though at first I panicked, I realized what grew better and now how I'm going to fix it, because I don't know what's going to bring in for 2026. 2023 was the coldest, absolute cold, one of the coldest summers, coolest in like over a decade. And then 2025 was the same. You would say, no, it was so hot. But at night here in Southern California, we didn't stay in the 60s. A lot of nights, we were in the 50s. And turmeric and ginger really likes it about 68 degrees. So it suffered greatly. But I did find out where it had the warmth. And now that's what I'm going to have to do in the spring. I'm going to have to create a microclimate, which I believe I can do, and get these things to even grow bigger. Because when they're really happy, they'll get even bigger than this. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you like me working in the garden and just blabbing away, tell me. And if you don't, I won't do it again. Leave your comments and tell me, was this okay? Or did I just waste your time? Or did you enjoy spending a little time with me in the garden? So with that, have a wonderful day. And don't, my throat's getting dry now. And don't, I should have had water. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. Oh my gosh, it's more than 3 tables.